Hello subscribers and new visitors, welcome to Dollhouse. Today we will start working on the standalone mirror for the master bedroom. This is from the Greenleaf vintage kit from 1982. So this is the mirror and I have all of the pieces that correspond. There are actually very few pieces. Because it is vintage and it has been sitting in storage for so many years, the wood is extremely dry. It is very brittle. In order to protect it, I am going to use this oil. It is almost like glue. So when I apply it, it will hold it together and it will also hydrate it a little bit. And then I will not be afraid of having pieces chip off or splinter off. I do suggest that you do cover your hands because it has a very strong smell and it actually is very sticky when you work with it. So I'm gonna pour just a little bit in this container, and actually that should be enough. And it immediately changes the appearance of the wood. It accentuates the grain. And this part is very important because it's a 3-ply, and I want the 3 different plies of composite wood to stick together. These pieces have sat in storage for over 30 years, but we want our piece of furniture to stay together for another 30 or 40 years or perhaps even more. So this is why we're giving it a careful treatment. This is the frame. And right now it's very splintery. It catches on everything, but we are going to sand it afterwards when it's already a little bit protected and when I know that it's not going to fall apart. Our pieces are here just drying after we apply the oil. So all I have to do right now is wait for them to dry. In the meantime, we can get started working on the mirror. The mirror was made of 2 parts. This cardboard foil is the reflective element, and then a plastic or acetate sheet would go over it and it would be the glass element. As you can see, this must have been stored near other pieces that kind of created this shape, and I tried to get rid of it by ironing it. It just won't go away. So the only choice that I have is to make a new one. This little piece, it's the covering of a food container, an aluminum food container. So I'll just have to trace it and cut it. And it's pretty clean, so I don't even have to select a part. Anywhere that I cut it is gonna be fine. So here is our new reflective part of the mirror. So the next step is to do the same thing. It came with one, nowhere to be found. This one came in some packaging of a product that I purchased. These are all over the place. You can also find them in food containers. And I'm just gonna select a part of it that it's very see-through, that doesn't have any blemishes, and do the same thing that I did with the foil. I have two components now, the reflective, the glass, and this is our mirror. I am going to glue them together. Well, since I already have the carpenter's glue out here, that's exactly what I'm going to use. There's no debris right here, and I have to make sure that there's no debris that gets caught in between these two. And the problem that I had before is that too much glue, when I sandwich them together, then it would spill. Part of it is going to be concealed by the frame, the wooden frame. But some of them, if it goes too far in, then it would show. We don't want that, for sure. And I also can't do it too slow, because if it starts to dry, then it won't stick together. I know some of you have suggested other material that would work best for the mirror. Somehow I feel that I want to use what was meant to be, what came with the original kit. I don't know why, but I just want to keep it originally as it was meant to be. Okay, I'm gonna press them and clean whatever comes out, so that when we put the frame right here, I think that we're safe, that nothing came to the visible part. So I'm gonna press them together. And this is not gonna take long to dry. See how a little bit cover a lot of space? We're still in the clear. When it comes to the frame, it will cover that. Now these pieces have been sitting here for a little while, and I feel that we are ready to start sanding away. And I'm gonna use fine grit and just smooth it out a little bit. Right now, anything that I touch right here, it catches because it's very gritty. And I just want to smooth it out a little bit. All of my pieces have been sanded. This is the first pass through. Now I'm going to paint it. So the other pieces, in my bedroom, I have two different colors of wood. I have blue, and then I have the natural wood color. Well, my first thought was to paint them all so that they would be a set. But this house, the story of this house is that it's been restored in the 1920s, and people often inherited furniture. We didn't throw away, people didn't throw away things like we do it today. So if the mirror, I want it to be off-white, it's perfectly acceptable that people would have pieces that do not match. They actually complement each other. And to make my beige, I'm going to use acrylic paint. This is titanium white. And then, well, I better make sure that I have enough, because if I mix it, I don't have measurements. One little drop of this brown. Okay, one drop may have been a little bit too much, more than I needed. So I will have to add more white in order to make it beige or off-white, okay? I'm gonna mix it very well. Here we go. The inside is very important too. And like I said, the part that gives you the most work is having to wait in between drying time. When you paint it, when you apply the sealant, it's just a matter of patience. And these have this slit right here. I have to keep that one very clear of thick paint because there's going to be a piece of wood inserted, and if it's too thick then it won't fit. It has taken 3 coats of the paint, and after they dried I sanded them with a fine grit sandpaper, and I think now they're ready. They're not perfect, and I actually don't want them to be perfect because they're not supposed to be brand new pieces. For instance, you can see right here there's some dents, some scratches, and that's perfectly fine. On the inside of the posts there's these tiny little markings. This is where I have to drill a hole. I am going to be using a handheld drill with the smallest bit. And you can actually see how it's lifting the wood inside. It works quickly. And it's actually now coming through the other side. Okay, so that's exactly what I need. And I have to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, and this is just to make sure that it stays together forever. Now let's get the mirror onto the frame. So this is the not so nice side and this is the nicest side. So I am going to glue it right here. And again, I have to just do the bare minimum that I can of glue so that it doesn't spill into the visible part. And I'm going to place something heavy on top of this just to make sure that it's making contact while it's drying. This is galvanized steel wire. This is going to be attached to the mirror and then put through the perforation so that the mirror actually swivels. If you do not have, you don't have to go out and buy any wire. If you don't have any, a paper clip will do. And I'm pretty sure that's more than enough. Now I'm going to try and get it as straight as I possibly can. So right now, I am going to place the mirror right here and make sure that it clears the bottom. So if I place it right there, I know that it's clearing the bottom, and then I'll make a marking where the perforations on the side are located. Okay, if this is working right, I should have the perforation be at the same height on both sides. This piece came with the kit. This goes back here. This is supposed to support the back. I couldn't figure out how to do the rod so that it swivels, so I cut 2 pieces of coffee stirrer about the same size. I will set one right here, one right next to it, and then this will be right here in the middle. Once that is installed, then this will be over it. And I can be assured that it will always be held in place. And there's just enough space for the little piece of metal that will be sitting in between. One of the sides of the rod is gonna have to be made into a loop. Now I'm gonna make it, instead of, you would see it as a P, now I'm gonna make it into a lollipop. And the way to do that is I'm gonna hold it right here at the bottom and push it. So now, and then, so this will go through here. And stop right there. And then once it's installed, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. I can't do it just yet because then I wouldn't be able to put it through. So, okay, here we go. Now, when I set these in here, I will hold them together, and then this part gets to be glued. And we will be sandwiching, and then our mirror can swivel. I am going to put the glue on the bottom and on the top, but I'm not going to put it in the middle because I want the metal wire to be free from glue so that we could move it. Okay, I'm gonna hold it just for a little bit to make sure that it's glued well together before I start forming the other side of the wire. Okay, now it's standing on its own, so now I'm going to form this other side. Okay, so what I need to do first thing is I'm going to bend it upwards. And then around. This one, of course, has to be more difficult because it's already installed. And I am going to trim it. We have our mirror complete. It stands on its own and it can also swivel. You can adjust it a little bit and then it stays. It doesn't fall back down. It looks like a used piece of furniture. It doesn't look brand new. It has a little bit of scratches. And now it's ready to go inside of the bedroom. And look at all of the progress we have made in this bedroom. And I think this is a perfect place for the mirror. The lady of this house is definitely going to enjoy and appreciate to have a full-length mirror that she can set to however she wants. And I think that we're just about done with this room. Probably some finishing touches, some artifacts or items that make it look as if someone is living in the room, and then we'll be finished. And perhaps we can quickly move to the next room. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I love this craft, and I love to be able to share it with the people that have the same passion for miniatures. Have a great day.